begin the ending the same way we began the whole thing, with a rematch of our division opener as the East Bay Blazers welcome the San Diego Surf Riders back to the Bay and look to cinch up a return to the minor league Super 8s and another crack at the crown in 2025. Joe Hickey with you live from a delightful 70-degree Morgan Hill, alongside Vishal Tiku at the controls of a Crick Live production here on the MLC Network. And we've got a lot to settle here in the West as we take a look at our points table coming into this final weekend. Last weekend, the Seattle Thunderbolts, not the most gracious hosts in the Pacific Northwest, as they went 3-1. They split 2 matches with the Silicon Valley Strikers after sweeping these East Bay Blazers to go top of the table at 6-4. But as you look at that table, lurking just behind them, the trio of NorCal sides, each sitting on 3 losses, and therefore each with their destiny in their own hands at the start of the week. Any one of them could reach a 7-3 record, although at most 2 of them will do so, since 2 of our 5 games will pit them directly against one another. The other 3 matches, though, will see each of them take on these San Diego Surf Riders. And if you're a Thunderbolts fan, then San Diego is your new second favorite team. If the Thunderbolts are going to hang on and make the playoffs this year, they desperately need the 2-5 Surf Riders to spring at least one upset here in the Bay, and ideally to stay close in their other matches to give the idle men in pink a shot at winning a net run rate tiebreak. Our weekend journey of 200 overs will begin with a single ball out of the hand of one of the East Bay Blazers, as San Diego has won the toss, just the second time they've won a toss all year, and only the 4th time in the last 2 seasons in 16 tries. But they have won that toss, and they've elected to bat first. Let's take a look at the teams, beginning with the team that will be coming to, or will be in the field, rather. And these East Bay Blazers have exactly 0 changes to the lineup that they ran out in the second game against the Seattle Thunderbolts. It will be a little different for them chasing. They haven't done a lot of that this season, and most notably, they haven't done it successfully yet this season. A stark contrast, East Bay 5-0 this year when batting first, 0-3 when they've got to pursue a target. As for the San Diego Surf Riders, we do have 2 changes to the lineup that faced off with the LA Lashings and won on the final ball back on Sunday. Rahim Mangal and Abhinay Reddy Vanapalli both out of the lineup. Abhayender Singh returns, as does Supranch Kumar. We're just about ready for action here in Morgan Hill, California. It appears it's going to be Faisal Khan Ahmadzai getting the first ball of the encounter, and that to come from Atul's end. We will see if the Tarika end, the far end of this ground from our commentary position, the end over by the freeway, ends up again being a haven for left-handed pacers. That was pretty much all we saw from that side of the ground 2 weekends ago when Hari Venkatramani and I had the call of a weekend involving the LA Lashings facing off with the Bay Area sides. It's going to be Shehan Fernando and Pranav Reddy Pagidyala at the other end as we get underway. Final weekend of MILC, and the first delivery is run down to third man for a single. Fernando off the mark, and it'll be Pranav Reddy, the young man at the other end, about to get in. He made his 2025 debut last Sunday against LA. Recorded 5 runs off 8 deliveries. That debut in MILC coming against the team that he had been part of the setup for the last 2 seasons, albeit without having debuted in minor league. With him on strike, the deep protection all behind him. Backward square and third man. First delivery on the mark from Faisal. Attempted Yorker length and batted into the pitch. Pranav certainly a well-known name around the Southern California Cricket Association, the SCCA, especially in the one-days where he's had a handful of centuries. In the under-19 West One-Day Nationals, he was the top run scorer back in July. Shortening up the length is Faisal Khan. Attempted run out as Sujith Gowda avoids well, doesn't really avoid. Pranav does avoid the stumps on his way in. As Hadi and I were discussing 2 weeks ago, a rich dot. Doesn't look like much in the scoreboard, but all sorts of stuff happening. That one rising up to the body of the very tall Pranav. Another high one. That time he rises with it, gets bat to it, and runs it back behind. He is underway with one off the first 3 he's faced. For Faisal Khan so far this year, 5 wickets in his 10 overs of work at a 6.64 economy. Got beaten up a little bit, though, at Tollgate Farms over the weekend. 30 runs in his 2 overs there. Fernando on strike. He's hit the pad, but unmoved is the umpire Sundaram Subramanian. We'll see if there's anything to that appeal. Might well have been pitching inside leg, and it certainly looks like there might have been a height issue on that one as well. So Fernando survives the delivery. Last delivery of this first over. It's been a good one from Faisal, but it ends with a rope over to mid-wicket, and that'll be the day's first boundary off the bat of Shehan Fernando, coming off yet another productive weekend last week in LA with a 72 and a 56, and he gets the boundary account underway on this final ball. Little on the short side, and Fernando says that is sitting up with a hit me sign all over it. 4 on the final delivery of that first over, through 1, 6 for no loss, San Diego. It will be Carmi LaRue bowling the first over from the Tadika end. So just as has been the case in recent weeks, a lefty pacer haven over at that side of the ground. It was discussed during those games that one of the reasons for that might be the breeze that tends to blow from Carmi's left to his right as he steams in from this end. Certainly something that assists a lefty if they're looking for a bit of swing. From over the wicket, that one not much in the way of swing, just a simple one knocked down by Pranav Reddy. Carmi pretty economical against Seattle last weekend, but just 1 wicket in the 7 overs of work. Again, targeting the stumps from over the wicket, again batted into the turf. Carmi getting that length right on point. One tall man to another here in the early going. Of course, certainly East Bay with an embarrassment of riches of lefties to throw from that end. Already saw Faisal. Now you got Carmi, Abhishek Paradkar as well. Using his feet is Pranav. That ball, though, is going to get by him, by Saideep, and all the way to the rope. I didn't see the buy signal. We'll see if that indeed is 4 off the bat. He did get a piece of it. We'll see if we can spot that on the replay here. Yeah, just the very slightest of inner edges, and just enough to carry it by the gloves. You can see for the split second that Carmi thought that that might end up in Saideep Ganesh's gloves. He was beginning the appeal for that inner edge, clearly heard by the umpiring crew, and given runs off the bat for Pranav Reddy. Good comeback delivery, looking to scamper the quick single, a throw down toward the stumps, well backed up as it does not hit the target. That is the 55, Kavin Bandara, new to the side as of last week. Backed up by the captain, Sanjay Krishnamurthy. And a quick single taken, a little bit of indecision off the bat, but he's called through by his partner, Fernando. Shahan enters the weekend 8th in minor league in runs scored with 257. Has already added 5 to that total. That one's airborne. There is a fielder back there, but it's too long. Hezbollah Durrani will have to watch it fly out of here for the day's first maximum. Continuing to operate with deep protection at third and at deep backwards square. Doesn't matter where you put him, though, if he hits it like that. Dug into the pitch on a short ball. Rises up to shoulder height. And that's the second ball bowled short that Fernando has punished already in this match. LaRue had a good comeback after the 4, which admittedly was a bit streaky. We'll see what he's got to follow up that 6. This time, attempted Yorker. May have been a little short, but Fernando not able to get to the pitch of it well. And that'll be a dot to finish. 11 from it, a pair of boundaries. Reddy's a little on the streaky side. Fernando's with authority. San Diego 17 for no loss. Faisal Khan continues from Atul's end. Good first over from him, punctuated only by that 4 off the bat of Fernando on the final delivery. So far, rather economical on the season, that 30 runs in 2 overs against Seattle, only pushing his economy up to a little over a run a ball. Fending for it, but not able to make contact, in part because it was wide of the tram lines. That, in particular, is the bugaboo for Faisal Khan. Nine 9.6% of his runs coming by way of wides or no balls, and he's one of only 7 in minor league with 3 or more no balls this year. Again, dancing along the tram line, this time keeping it inside of it for a dot. Only Carmine LaRue has had a larger percentage of his runs come by way of freebies. In this East Bay setup. Gone! Knocks over. Off stump, maybe with a slight chop on. But Faisal Khan, after dancing along the tram line, pulls one right back at the stumps. And he hits the target. Pranav Reddy is going to have to go for 6 off 9. A streaky boundary, a couple of singles. And that's the end of your day. For Faisal, his 6th wicket of the season. And this one just on target. Nope, no contact with the bat at all. A little bit, perhaps, of reverse swing. Just a hint of it. As that ball came back from middle stump to peg back off. And so first wicket down of our encounter. Bowled by Faisal Khan. Pranav Reddy, the young man, gone on 2.2. And it's 18 for 1 as the new batter comes out to partner Shahan Fernando, and it will be Snell Patel. Patel, the 31-year-old wicket-keeper opener from Rajkot, a veteran of the Saurashtra setup in Ranji Trophy and other Indian domestic cricket. He has had a solid start to his career here in minor league, tied at the moment for second in the entire league in fours. It is worth noting, though, that it's been 2 big scores, and then without particularly the largest of them, a 97 in a losing chase against Silicon Valley. His strike rate without that drops from 135 to 114, his average from 29.4 to 18.7. He's got very few weak spots. That ball's going to be back behind leg. It looks like a no ball as signaled by Sundaram Subramanian as well, an overstep. And the ball gets away. It's going to be byes, 4 byes, and a no ball. So we'll see there the overstep. Interesting. If it is byes, I would have thought that it would have also then been a wide. It's an awful lot going on there, but I thought I saw the bye signal. But it goes down as 4 byes, a no ball, and now a free hit. And what a way to be greeted to the crease here for Snell Patel. Opportunity to increase that second in MILC total of 4s. That might also be a no ball, but it's run off the bat at head height. The signal again, it is a beamer out of the hand of Faisal Khan, and it will be a 6 and a no ball. Forget 4s. Agent 00 puts that one all the way. Nice little ramp there. No, never mind. That one did actually hit the ground first. 4 and a no ball. My mistake. Lost sight of it amidst the traffic behind the Tarika end. So Faisal Khan, we mentioned before, a tidy first over, but has struggled with the extras. His 5th no ball of the season. Take something off and make sure that one does pitch. And it's a dot on the second consecutive no hit, free hit, rather. Get a look there as Snell Patel threw that shot early and it buzzed the top of off stump. Faisal steaming back in. Again, one rising and guided wide of the man in the circle. Uncle stop back there by Carmine LaRue at third man, and he will keep it inside the field of play. A lengthy over here thus far as we get a look at the defensive work from Carmine in the deep. That can't feel good. Maybe if you get that off your instep, it's a little better, but off the top of your foot, that's got to sting a little. That one cut, and it's going to be a run the other direction for Carmine, and this time he's not going to be able to get a foot or anything behind it, and that'll be another 4. An expensive second over so far for Faisal Khan. This time maybe a little on the short side, and the cut able to guide that fine of Carmine at deep third. Still no changes to the deep protection, even with the new batter. Backward square and third man. Faisal on target with the final delivery of the over. That worked to the vacant area in front of backward square for a single. But a whopping 14 that go against Faisal Khan and 4 more on those byes. Ends up being 19 from the over. San Diego Surfriders 35 for 1 through 3. The young captain will call his own number here to try and restore sanity to the proceedings in over number 4. It's going to be Sanjay Krishnamurthy from the Tarika end. So far this season, 8 wickets in his 20 overs and an economy of 5.45, and especially with a pair of right-handers at the crease, which will be the case for most of today. To my knowledge, I don't think there's a left-hander in this lineup besides maybe in the tail. But he has gone all the way down to 4.76 for his economy against righty batters, 13.6 the strike rate. He has been dangerous, and he has been thrifty. First delivery round the wicket from Sanjay, lefty orthodox spin on target. Patel bats it into the surface. Certainly an abundance of potential bowlers for this East Bay Blazers side. We haven't seen as much, certainly none of Sujith Gowda just yet this season. They do have one other lefty spinner in Anji Pereira. That one is guided just wide of a diving Bandara inside the circle, and a 4 off the bat of Snell Patel. Nicely cut. Yeah, maybe more of an offside slap. Either way, job done, and 4 more runs to the San Diego total. We mentioned in the beginning that if you are Seattle Thunderbolts, a team in the yellow to seafoam green gradient, those are your favorite guys this weekend. A little flatter and a little quicker in from Sanjay on that delivery. Trying to vary pace a little bit here, but if Seattle is going to hold on with that 6-4 record, they're going to need a good performance this weekend from San Diego. Probably at least one upset, and then to stay in the matches, even if they do lose 1 or 2 of them. Net run rate likely to matter if we wind up with several teams at 6-4. Another flat one from Sanjay. This one run to the defender in the covers. We do have a change against or with the lefty spinner in the attack to the deep protection. Now we've got backward square and long on. Last delivery of a quick 4th over. That one again picks out the fielder at mid-off. And so a quiet one besides the 4 on that second ball from Snell Patel. San Diego going at exactly 10 per, 40 for 1 through 4. Last time these teams met, a big resounding win for the East Bay Blazers on opening day. Took it by 57 runs. That was a day where the Blazers batted first. Seemed to be in dire straits as we have a change of ends for Carmine LaRue, now bowling from Atul's end. Swing and a miss, but another no ball. The arm out from Sundaram Subramanian, and he's overstepped again. 3rd of the game so far, 2 against Faisal Khan in the last over from this end. And another free hit to come. This one for Snell Patel, who had a bit of a day to forget in the chase of that match. Just 1 off 1 before he was run out by Faisal Khan. Let's see what he can do against Carmine. Carmine does well to run that up near the hips. Good looking line, and that's only going to be a single off the free hit. Shehan Fernando, meanwhile, coming on strike, had one of his best days of the season. That 79 off 45 on minor league debut. 7 4s and 5 6s. He's had a few other big scores recently. We mentioned the 72 and the 56 against LA. Interestingly, though, those two biggest scores have both come in losses. Swing and a miss. This one is going to stay within the tram lines. Good comeback from LaRue after the no ball on the first. And the comeback continues. Pushing the length a little bit fuller. Nothing Fernando can do with it. Fernando's had, you wouldn't say struggles, but certainly hasn't been as fluent against Pacers this season. Overall strike rate of 140, but it's 159 against spinners. Doesn't run as much, doesn't hit as many boundaries against the Pacers. It'll be those overs against the likes of Anji, Vikash, Sanjay, where he may look to profit. Carmi looked like he had him beaten for pace on that one, jumping back and batting it into the turf. 3 dots on the trot after the no ball and the single. Goodness gracious, the call from the San Diego bench, unmistakable. LaRue misses his length short, and Fernando deposits it over mid-wicket for a big 6. Looks almost like a photocopy of the 6 he gave up in his first over from the other end. Might have been a little bit more behind Fernando when he hit that one, but second time running that we've seen a short ball punished. We mentioned 7 4s and 5 6s for Shehan Fernando in that first meeting. 1 and 2 so far. The difference here, San Diego, a chance to put runs on the board. Better that time, and Faisal Khan looking for the run out. Mind you, that is how Snell Patel was retired in the first meeting between these teams. Run out on a ball he didn't even hit by Faisal Khan. This time around, he gets home safely. San Diego Surfriders 49 for 1 through 5 after a 9-run over from LaRue. Krishnamurthy will continue from the Tarika end for the final over of the power play. Continuing round the wicket with the lefty spin. Bit of a full delivery there, worked back behind fine leg to Carmi LaRue. A dot to start for Sanjay. Stepping forward and drilling this one. Deep extra cover and nothing to do but chase. We mentioned Shehan Fernando has had his joy against spinners. A good example of that. San Diego bench thoroughly enjoying the display of shot making at the center right now. Fernando now up to 22 off 15 as he brings up the 50 for San Diego here in the 6th over. That one airborne for a moment, but plenty of room in front of the deep man at long on. That'll be a single. thoughts of trying to take a quick single. Faisal Khan quickly to it. So far, second verse same as the first for Sanjay Krishnamurthy. He went .41 ... in his first over. .41 ... so far. What do the last two deliveries of the power play have in store? That one will be worked wide. The diving man in the covers. Vikash Mohan not able to get to it. That will be a 4. The symmetry ends there. Not much in the way of turn on offer there. And a bit on the short side. Sits up nicely for Snell Patel to shoot it through the covers. San Diego absolutely so far building a total with two of their best batters at the middle. Snell looks to make a little room for himself, not able to beat the fielder. That'll be a dot to finish and ends the power play with the San Diego Surfriders on 58 for 1. Krishnamurthy gives up 9 off of the second over of work for him. And the partnership up to 40 so far for the Surfriders between Patel and Fernando. A look at the quick-fire partnership. 40 runs off 22 deliveries so far for Fernando and Snell Patel. Fernando, the opener. He and Pranav Reddy Pagidyala partnered for 18 before Pagidyala was bowled by Faisal Khan. But since then, he and Snell have been moving at a pace. Measuring tape out, one would assume, to try and straighten out some of the issues that the Blazers have had with their run-ups. From this end, it'll be a new bowler, Abhishek Paradkar, in just a moment, but Faisal Khan, a pair of no balls back-to-back in his second over of work amidst a very expensive over for the Blazers' attack. Carmine LaRue, a little less expensive overall, but did concede the no ball on the very first delivery of his over as well. So we're going to get measuring devices involved, and Abhishek Paradkar ready to get himself involved in this Blazers attack. The 23-year-old San Diego native, currently tied for second in wickets in MILC, just 3 behind Van Skalkvik. First delivery is going to be down the leg side for a wide, though. Paradkar following up a solid 2024 in this league with 11 wickets at a run a ball, with now 18 wickets and a 5.85 economy. 6th in the league in average, 2nd in strike rate, and as we told you, tied with Matt Hennig for 2nd in wickets. First delivery run wide. Lots more deep protection, of course, as the fielding restrictions relieved just a few balls ago. That'll be a single. Thus far, Abhishek has been a model of consistency. He has struck in every match this season, and he's taken multiple wickets in 5 of the 8 matches for East Bay Blazers. And you have that guy as your third lefty pacer. That is quite the luxury in the middle overs, and certainly an expert at rapidly dismissing a tail. Running this one to about a 4th or 5th stump line. Timidly batted to the offside. Still 2 men deep behind the batter at this point, even with the fielding restrictions released. continue to operate with a deep backward square and a deep third. Additionally, sweeper cover, mid-wicket, and long on. That delivery is run straight to Sanjay Krishnamurthy inside the circle. Up with it quickly. Sanjay, somebody who impressed me on my very first viewing as a fielder. Barely got to see him bowl or bat, but watched him as a boundary rider. And immediately was like, this is one of my new favorite guys. Again, the fielders in the circle, quick to pounce on that ball. Snell unable to work it to any of the new gaps that have opened up in that area as Abhishek disciplined with his line. It's been dangling that ball in the corridor of uncertainty ever since the one that went down the leg side. Now targeting the stumps, may have drifted a bit far down leg. It will be chased down, though, by deep mid-wicket. Just a single from it and one more ball left in the over, re-bowling the wide. Another fantastic ball from Paradkar, worked away, though, into one of those unpatrolled areas and allowing for the quick single. So 3 runs off the bat plus a wide, 4 off Paradkar's first. San Diego 62 for 1 through 7. Sticking with lefty spin at the Tadika end, but it will not be the current captain. It'll be the former captain, Angelo Pereira, will take the ball. Pereira, at the moment, second best economy in minor league cricket at 3.92. He has bowled 13 overs and conceded exactly 1 boundary. So given the rhythm that we saw Fernando and Snell getting into against the likes of Krishnamurthy and Carmine LaRue, Paradkar does well to limit the damage from Atul's end, and Anji will look for the same from the Tadika. Flighted ball, run backwards of square. That'll be a single as Paradkar's up with it. Pereira just 4 wickets in those 13 overs, but he has been exceedingly valuable for his ability to limit the scoring rate. That's not going to help, though. Goes down the leg side for a wide. Lifted over the drawn-in man in the covers, well wide of long off. Not likely what Sanjay had in mind, given what his fellow lefty spinner has done so far, but that time missing with the length, a bit too full. And at that line, easy decision what to do with it. At 4, by the way, bringing up the 50 partnership between these two, and they'll keep on adding to it as that one's shot straight back past Pereira for another 4. This feels like a commentator curse right about now. That time around a bit on the short side and plenty of time to adjust to the new path. Gorgeous straight drive. So we'll see how Anji reacts and adjusts from here with the run rate back up toward 10s. There's another ball in the air. That one is going to get just over long off. And it is a maximum. Snell Patel taking the second stingiest bowler in the entire league for 3 consecutive boundaries, each bigger than the last. This time using the feet to get to the pitch of it. Looking for the comeback, and a ball blocked into the surface here. One left in the over after the earlier leg side wide. Worked wide of Anji Pereira. Long run in from the boundary for long on, and it'll be a single to finish off the over. 17 off Pereira's first. San Diego Surfriders 79 for 1 through 8. Surfriders continuing to make moves with this second wicket partnership. 61 now from 34. And Snell Patel really growing into this innings. Has found Anji Pereira's bowling particularly to his liking. It'll be Paradkar continuing on for a second over from Atul's end. Worked off the pads, straight to the man at backward square, and a single to start. Paradkar started this season with that fifer, his second in MILC against this San Diego side. But he mostly did his damage in that game against the tail of the order. In fact, he removed the last 5 San Diego batters in the span of just 9 total balls bowled. Drifts down leg side. That'll be another wide. Second one he's bowled. Had a few that have been worked off the pads as well. Relatively quiet Blazers team, but some encouragement being shouted in. Protection inside the circle almost entirely on the offside here for Shehan Fernando. And he pierces the gap anyway, and there's nobody to deal with it once it's through there. And this is certainly the thing that the Blazers need to be aware of. They have had their struggles chasing this season and are coming off of back-to-back losses up in Seattle. And this San Diego team looking to put some pressure on a club that somewhat unexpectedly really does need to win to secure their place. 2 weeks ago, most of the talk around MILC was who even has the capacity to chase down the men in yellow. Stopped on the infield by Durrani. But all of a sudden, what a difference a week makes. East Bay, after making light work of San Diego and Silicon Valley but falling to the Grizzlies, were perfect against LA and Silicon Valley in week 2. Big issue, the chase that was not completed in the game that Seattle won in the Super over. That one's again going to pierce that same gap. They had LaRue a little bit wider and a little deeper, but Dorani, the one who's targeted, that one's just wide of him. And another 4. Just a gorgeous cut, opening the face of the bat to guide that wide of the fielder. The face of dejection there in Hezbollah Dorani. San Diego have pushed that run rate back up past 10s. Nearly unheard of against this attack. That one got pad, but might have been too sounds. They look to take the quick single. The throw just wide of the stumps from fine leg. It's all happening there. It's going to go in the book as just a single. But a lot of drama associated with it. 11 off Paradkar's second over. Still 1 ball left. San Diego finding the boundary with frequency so far. And these two have been the danger men, by and large, for this club. Not a lot of big scores, and certainly not a lot of big quick scores outside of these two. That one pushed wide to the man on the infield. Krishnamurti comes up with it, throws it down to the wicketkeeper's end. But it's another quickly scampered single. 3 of those, a wide and 2 fours, both off the bat of Snell Patel. San Diego Surf Riders 91 for 1 through 9. The second wicket partnership into the 70s now. 73 runs between Fernando and Snell Patel. Since the first wicket fell way back in over number 3, San Diego have maintained this scoring rate. They've maintained their wickets. And they're going to turn to another one of their top economy guys in Vikash Mohan to take over and bowl some off spin from the Tadika end. First delivery worked into the vacant mid-wicket area for a single off Vikash. Mohan, the 29-year-old out of Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. That one's airborne. Nobody in that vicinity, though, just wide of Vikash. It's been interesting. We keep seeing more and more of Vikash's flexibility and versatility as a cricketer as the years have gone by in MILC. His first 2 seasons rather in MILC, bowled just 7.2 overs, took 1 wicket. Last year, 33 overs. And this season, he's already got 18 under his belt, this the 19th. Continue to work it into that vacant area. Long run, thought about the second, but elect to stay put and continue to exchange the strike. Even after taking some damage in Seattle last weekend, Vikash remains 6th in the league in economy. Good run out in the deep as Abhishek Paradkar keeps that one from reaching the boundary, and they continue to operate in singles. Vikash, though, bowler of the week last time he was at Tadika in the West. Took 6 wickets for just 28 runs in 10 overs of work. Looking for another performance more like that. This time drifts outside. Fernando runs that back behind point. No run there. And so just about his average economy, we told you before, 4.83. He concedes 5 from this final over before the drinks break. Halfway point of the first innings, San Diego Surf Riders 96 for 1. Another look at this second wicket partnership that has posted 78 runs from 46 deliveries. Snell Patel closing in on a potential half-century here. 42 off just 28, and Shehan Fernando, no slouch just behind him there. 2 fewer balls faced, 5 fewer runs. But he has made a contribution. He has steadied one side, and they've both managed to go for boundaries, targeting just about everybody they put out there, including, most remarkably, Angelo Pereira. As we told you, the Pacific Conference leader in economy and second in MILC. That is no mean feat bowling in the West either. But he was taken for a whopping 17 his first over of work, and that's what's got the San Diego Surf Riders in good position here at the halfway point of their innings, looking to build a total. They sit at 96 for 1 after Vikash Mohan tried to restore a little bit of sanity pre-drinks break. Of course, this just one of 4 divisions in minor league, and there have been 3 games already completed this weekend. Every one of them has had a consequence in this playoff race that began with 9 spots up for grabs and 18 of the 26 teams still alive. A lot has changed in 24 hours, though. The Eastern Division is nearly sewn up at this point. New Jersey Stallions now 8-0 after a 30-run victory this morning against the NYC Titans. They finished the sweep of the Titans the last 2 days as Rashilu Garkar in to bowl. His first delivery straight back to him. And a dot to begin as he opens up his account at Atul's end. But over in the East, Stallions the first team to officially qualify for the Super 8s. Congratulations to them. They've got 2 matches left this weekend to try to finish a perfect 10-0. Targeting off stump. This ball worked away to the on side, though. And a single as the subfielder Arnav Iyer chases that one down. The other playoff spot in the East likely to go to the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. Philadelphians are technically alive in that race, but it's very much the Lloyd Christmas, so you're telling me there's a chance situation. Going down leg side, even as the batter steps across his stumps, still wide of that leg stump. But for the Philadelphians to upend New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, they would need to win both their games, today against New England and tomorrow against those undefeated Stallions. They would need the Cavaliers to lose twice to 1-7 Manhattan and overturn a roughly 1 run per over net run rate deficit. That one just past the flashing edge of Shehan Fernando and into the gloves. So if there was win viz for the playoffs, New Jersey Somerset would probably be 99%, Philadelphia 1%. Particularly, it's the need for the Manhattan Yorkers to beat the Cavaliers twice when they've only won one game so far this year that stretches credulity just a little bit. Ugarkar again targeting the stumps. Again getting a dot for his troubles. Also action this morning in the South as the Atlanta Fire defeated the Morrisville Raptors by 96 runs. That definitively ending the chances of the Raptors getting to play the Super 8s on their home field. Cut shot. And that is going to get wide of the diving effort in the deep. Takes 3 bites at the apple to finally chase that down. Durrani and Faisal Khan combining. That'll be a pair. That brings the 100 up for San Diego Surf Riders here in the 11th over. The partnership also, of course, closing in on a potential century. They came in with 18 runs on the board, so 18 runs away. Slap towards backward point. And another single, and that finishes the Ugarkar over. It's 2 overs on the trot here without a boundary from Vikash and Rushil. East Bay looking to restrain this rate and keep the target chaseable for them. San Diego 101 for 1 through 11. Vikash Mohan continues on from the Tarika end. 2 batters now in the 40s. Patel closing in on what would be his second score past 50. Correction. That was right. Second score past 50. As the ball is rolled over towards the onside. For the most part, it has been that end of the ground that's been getting peppered. Vikash has worked in on the legs a good bit. Ugarkar holding the ball away from the batters, and so from each end getting shot to the end to the left of us in our commentary position. Down for the slog sweep that will pick out the fielder backwards of point, square leg rather. Shouldn't talk about how the positions are different from one end to the other. Confuse the heck out of myself that way if I'm not careful. Was there an edge? Bit of a muted appeal there from Sadeep Ganesh. Sadiq, by the way, tied for second most wicketkeeper catches in MILC with 7. He's looking to add to that total there. Uses his feet, lifts this one into the air, and that is the end of Shehan Fernando on 41 off 33. A good catch out there at mid-wicket. Moments after they thought they might have gotten him to nick off to Sadiq behind. Looks for a bit of a pressure release from the lack of boundaries the last few overs, and holes out instead to mid-wicket. Vikash Mohan striking yet again, manages to bait him well out wide of his stumps. Ends up with one off the toe end of the bat, and we see the focus from umpire and bowler alike, waiting to see if that would be squeezed in the deep. So that ends the partnership at 85. And we'll bring out the captain, Skanda Rohit Sharma, to partner Snell Patel, currently 6 runs from what would be his second half-century. He flirted with one in his first game in Davis when he was out with 48 off 44. Then blew up for 97 on this field, trying to pursue, I believe it was 218 rather, against Silicon Valley Strikers. He'll face Vikash. That one run to the offside and a dot delivery following up the wicket. For Vikash here, a little return to form after being boshed about a little in Seattle. Another one defended into the ground and a dot delivery, just 2 from the 12th. And the big wicket of Shehan Fernando. San Diego Surfriders 103 for 2. Surfriders at the moment on pace for 172. If they get there, that would be, by quite a measure, the highest score conceded by this East Bay bowling attack. They did give up 155 to Seattle last weekend, as this one shot right back past Rushilu Garkar. Long run. Krishnamurthy will not get to it, but it'll be long on. Closing Anji Pereira. Faisal Khan Ahmadzai, the one making the catch out in the deep to dismiss Shehan Fernando. I was about to say, though, besides the 155, highest first inning score posted against East Bay was 135 before that. Skanda off the mark with a single off the next delivery from Rushilu Garkar. Work to the offside. Durrani up with it quickly. And don't look now, but there has not been a boundary since the pair of 4s hit off of Abhishek Paradkar in the 9th over. Closing in on 24 deliveries and 4 entire overs of bowling since that last boundary. This would be the 24th ball. looking to force the issue with a scoop, and lucky not to chip it onto his own stumps or into the gloves of Ganesh. Iskandar Rohit Sharma. Get a look here. Looks like that might have been a little too full to attempt that shot to. If you get a little bit of elevation on a shorter ball, can apply some lift and flick that over the top of the keeper. Try and keep it fine of the man at fine leg inside the circle as well. Yorker length worked away to the offside. That'll be a single into the covers. East Bay just bit by bit trying to pull back the throttle on an innings that was going at 10s for most of its first half. Since the drinks break, 5 from Ugarkar, 2 from Mohan, and now 4 from Ugarkar pending this final delivery. 4 from Ugarkar. East Bay starting to try to apply the clamps here. San Diego with a platform to build from, but needs to solve these middle overs bowlers. Surfriders 107 for 2 through 13. Vikash Mohan, the soon-to-be birthday boy, bowling from the Tadika end for his third over on the trot. First delivery is on the ground to the man in the deep. I think Vikash knows what he'd like for his birthday, and that is a plane ticket to Morrisville after the Blazers take care of business. But right now, that business challenging. Snell Patel, 4 from a 50. On strike against Vikash Mohan. Round the wicket, that one lifted. It's a long run, and it will be chased down, so no half century just yet. As we mentioned, Snell was dismissed just 2 runs shy of that desired half century back against Seattle. That delivery, and that is a muted celebration. No, okay, that was indeed a bump ball. For a split second, I thought that Skanda had collected his bat and was on his way back to the pavilion. I've been fooled before at this ground. I think the sound just dies because of the freeway, and sometimes you don't catch it. That one on the ground to the offside. Enough space to take a quick single. Mohan continues to work very economically. As we told you, went at less than a run every 2 balls over the entire weekend. 3 games last time they were at Tadika. Swing and a miss. As Snell Patel tries to cut loose. Now all the way up to 31 balls since the last boundary. That one just buzzing the outside of off stump. Lifted into the offside. That is going to break the boundary hex after 31 deliveries, and it's going to bring up the second MILC 50 for Snell Patel. 51 off 37 as he looks to continue to haul the Surfriders forward here. We'll take a look at his stats. The 51 off 37 strike rate near that 140 mark, which is a little bit above what he has been doing to this point in the season. Surfriders 114 for 2 through 14. And it's Rushil Ugarkar bowling his third over on the trot. Just 3 runs and, 9 balls. Can't seem to talk all of a sudden. Just 9 runs off those first 2. Was trying to do math in my head. Briefly thought he was going at 3 runs and over, and then realized, no, he's starting his third over. Just too many 3s on the screen. Yorker length, smothered, and run back to the short third man. Still a single on offer there as the newly minted half centurion strides to the crease. Of course, with about 6 overs left to play with here, Snell Patel will be hoping to turn that 51 into a much bigger quantity. His high score of the season coming against the other original Bay Area squad, 97 against the Strikers. Swing and a miss as Ugarkar dances along the tram line. Of course, Rushil renowned for this sort of bowling late in pieces. No problems there at all as Snell Patel tried to give himself a little bit of room to extend the arms, and Ugarkar took it away from him. Continuing along that line, this time no movement of the feet, and Patel just delivers it past the deep long-off fielder Sanjay Krishnamurthy. And now starting to find the boundary with a little more regularity. First one that's been hit off of Rushil. See, almost the same line as the last one, a little fuller, and without Snell backing up this time around, able to get it done. Another one just over the outstretched hand of Faisal Khan. Good sliding play by Sanjay to keep it there. Chance down at the wicketkeeper's end. The ball has hit the batter. Patel puts his hand up and says, we're not running any more after that. But they do pick up a pair on a ball that, at least for a moment, my mistake wasn't Faisal Khan. It was the other left-handed pacer, Abhishek Paradkar, who had that one just barely over his outstretched right hand. And now stepping across and finding the gap and beating Faisal Khan as sweeper cover tried to close in there. Going wide, wider, and widest over those last 3 balls. 2 of them reached the boundary. And it's an 11-run over as they finally seem, or Snell in particular, finally seems to solve Rushil. You see there, this time he did give himself the room. Rushil crept a little bit further towards the stumps with his line. And it winds up feeling almost exactly like the one he'd hit out just prior. Picked that gap between backward point and sweeper cover to perfection. With that, San Diego putting pedal to the metal again. We hit the death overs, 125 for 2. change of ends for Abhishek Paradkar, who will now move to the Tarika end for his third over of work. First over, very economical, 3 singles and a wide. Second over got taken for 2 boundaries, and the second of those was the last one for a solid 5 overs for this San Diego side. After getting one on the final delivery of Vikash's last over, they get to Ugarkar for 2 and are motoring along again. And again, the inside-out off drive from Skandarohit Sharma this time, and he gets in on the fun. Greets the number 44 in yellow with a 4. Hold the pose, Skanda. That was pretty. We'll see what Abhishek has as a comeback here, but this threatening to become a very challenging total for these Blazers. They've managed to pull back, well, now know that projected score back to being roughly 170, as it was just before that economical spell of 5 overs. San Diego up in the tempo again. That one gets gloved. The shot thrown a little early. They'll try down at Abhishek's end. Throw from LaRue, not on target. But for East Bay, the very definition of a potential banana peel game for them. Understandable they might start looking forward to their matchup tomorrow with the San Ramon Grizzlies, but there is business to attend to here first. With all the movement we've seen of the feet from Snell Patel recently, Saideep Ganesh is going to come up to the stumps. With the pace of Abhishek Paradkar. Needs to be careful with his line. First delivery is worked just wide of the batter, and Saideep quickly out to it. As we told you, Ganesh, one of the leaders in MILC in wicketkeeper catches. Hasn't been as big on the stumping circuit. Patel was already premeditating giving himself some room. Stepped slightly away from the stumps, runs it to the offside. Another single, and Skanda will look to continue to get going after that 4 to open the over. Again cramping him for space. The throw is down to Saideep's end. Appeals for the run out, but nothing given by Sundaram Subramanian. Take a moment to repair the furniture. I hadn't told you either way, Ganesh Sanup, the umpire at the other end, the bespectacled one. Gone! Abhishek Paradkar takes his 19th wicket of 2025, and he does it by evicting middle stump from its moorings. And that will be all for the captain. Right through the defenses. And that's going to make the next 4 overs a little more intriguing, as it's going to be at least one fresh batter to partner up with the half-centurion Snell Patel. San Diego Surfriders 131 now for 3 through 16. Abhiyender Singh out to partner Snell Patel. He'll be at the non-striker's end as the next over begins. Carmine LaRue to bowl it from Atul's end. He bowled his first from the Tadika end and went for 11. Bowled his second from this end and went for 9, including a no ball. $16 of those 20 runs coming courtesy of the boundary shots. 2 6s and a 4. Snell Patel will be the man on strike. East Bay with lots of options for how to deploy their attack down the stretch. First delivery from LaRue, picked up and placed to backward square. That'll be a single. Snell moves to 63. Abhiyender Singh about to come up and face the lefty pacer from Joburg. Singh a little bit back to earth after a very explosive 2024 campaign when he scored 173 runs off 101 balls faced and had a 43 average, hit nearly a quarter of the balls he saw to the boundary. This season, 34 off 46, and he's been dismissed 6 times. Big part of the story of San Diego not repeating last season's flirting with the postseason has been the fall-off in both his form and that of the captain, Skanda Rohit Sharma. Skanda just dismissed, has not been able to get out of first gear this season. Strike rate right around 75, and has only broken 20 twice. That one off the edge of the bat. They'll look to take a quick single. Abhi Singh off the mark there. His best day of the season, the 21 off 26, with a pair of 6s in the win that San Diego picked up here in the Bay Area. Their first ever, actually, in Northern California, coming up at Arroyo against Seattle. That one's going to pick out the fielder in the inner ring. Decently struck, but not terribly well timed. Ball worked off the feet and is going to be wide of fine leg. Long run and a nice slide back there by Vikash Mohan. They'll take a pair. The use of right arm pace against Snell Patel, Rushilu Garkar really being the only option, seemed to slow him for a good chunk of time. It's the only thing he's not going at roughly 130 or 140 against. But they're almost out of that. Just 1 over remaining of Ugarkar to deploy in these last 3. Tidy over, though, from Carmine LaRue. He goes for just 5. San Diego 136 for 3, going at exactly 8 runs per over. A look at the bowling card here. They do have overs available for everybody that's gone out there so far. To this point, only Vikash Mohan has been particularly economical. Rushil was pretty good beside that last over of work. Angelo Pereira boshed around. Faisal Khan, little trouble with his radar. Karmai, Sanjay, and Abhishek have kept it reasonable. But all the options available, it's going to be Abhishek Paradkar going at just over sevens to bowl this over from the Tadika end. And his first one is down the leg side and past everybody. 5 wides to start. Not the ideal beginning here, as that doesn't even count as a ball bowled. Comes out a little funny trying to produce that angle into the body of Snell Patel. Snell up to 9 fours and 1 6. We mentioned he was tied for second in the league coming into the weekend in fours. We'll have to take a look at that leaderboard and see if Snell has put himself up top. That one run to mid-wicket. Long run in from the boundary. But it will just be a single. In fact, can confirm Snell Patel now 5 fours clear of Ramiz Raja to lead all of minor league. It's Abhi Singh on strike now, though. Tap to mid-wicket. Another single picked up there. This is the period of time, by and large, though, that you do want Abhi Singh out there this season. 128 the strike rate at the death. The problem for him and what's dragged down his stats is that he has been remarkably circumspect in the middle. He's faced 22 balls in the middle overs. He's scored 6 runs and been dismissed twice. Does make the rest of his stat line look pretty pedestrian. But not a bad option here at the death. Snell Patel, though, the set batter. And the set batter is gone. Abhishek Paradkar closes in on the top man in the wicket takers list. He's got his second of the day. That's 20 on the season. He's 1 back of Shadley van Skalkvik for the lead. And the new league leader in fours has got to go. Cramped well for style, never gets those arms extended. We'd seen a lot of that today of Snell Patel backing up a little to make use of some space and access the offside. This time, Abhishek Paradkar, he missed earlier when he tried to create that angle in to Snell. This time around, gets it just right. And he lost that one for an easy catch to mid-off. That wicket falls a big 67 from 49. It elicits applause from the assembled here at the Strikers Cricket Ground and, of course, from the San Diego bench. San Diego now 143 for 4. As we await the identity of the new man at the crease. That one is an inside edge that runs all the way back behind, just wide of Saideep Ganesh, as it's Vijayaram Nandula making a streaky but productive start to his innings. Oh, correction there. Work that off the pads. That looked a little different live from our broadcast angle than it actually was. Streaky nothing. That was very well intended. My apologies, Vijaya. Another one worked off the pads. This will be a single. 1 ball left here in the Paradkar spell. Can he get level today with the wicket-taking leader, whose season has already come to a close? Chadley van Skalkvik, who started the season with a triple wicket maiden and ended it with one. That one evades the edge of Abhi Singh and is into the gloves of Sadeep Ganesh. And so that will end the spell. Paradkar, of course, still has a game left. As we take a look at this one, that looked to have gotten some decent purchase off the surface. A good bit of cut from leg side to offside there against Abhi Singh. But he survives. San Diego 148 for 4 through 18. Vijayaram on strike to face the first delivery of the penultimate over. It's Carmine LaRue entrusted with it from Atul's end. A good last over from LaRue from this end as he re-entered the attack. Gave up just 5 in over number 17. Had conceded 11 and 9 off of his 2 inside the power play. 1 from each end. He's done most of his bowling from Atul's end today. Yorker dug out and will go to the point region. Kind of a wild over there, that last one from Abhishek Paradkar. Had a little bit of everything. Couple singles, a 4, 5 wides, and, of course, the big wicket. And the end of the day for the high scorer, Snell Patel. Carmine looking for a little something less eventful here, as again, this Blazers side looks to restrain the run rate. Remember, through 10 overs, it was 9.6. That one lifted and will be dropped into the vacant mid-wicket region for a single. The 10-over mark, San Diego was 96 for 1. They have struggled to maintain that kind of intensity since the drinks break. There was a long period where they were unable to find a boundary. In the midst of that, Shahan Fernando dismissed by Vikash Mohan. And then in the late going, after Snell got going and got to his half-century, a couple of wickets falling to Abhishek Paradkar in the 16th and 18th overs. Another attempted Yorker. This one's popped up on the full toss. Sanjay unable to squeeze it. Would have been his second catch of the innings. But Vijayaram Nandula is going to survive that delivery. Almost the exact same spot where he was picked out, albeit on the opposite side. Similar ball, for that matter, cramping Vijayaram for space, but unable to hold that time. Change in fielder or field setting as Krishnamurthy's pushed back to the boundary. This ball rolled to Paradkar inside the circle. But Abhi Singh off like a shot and able to claim the single. LaRue very economical last weekend in Seattle, but just 1 wicket in his 7 overs of work. Has not struck today. 1 ball left to do it after the drop earlier. Big swing and a miss from Vijayaram. That one into the gloves of Sadeep Ganesh without a touch. Just 4 singles off of LaRue's last. As we take a look, we see Singh trying to get across his stumps. That line still tough to get to, especially at the pace bowled by the big 31-year-old from Joburg. 1 over to go. San Diego 152 for 4. Last over of the innings is going to be given to Rushil Ugarkar, who will change ends and bowl from the Tarika end. His 3 overs from Atul's end went for a total of 20. 10 of those coming off the last 3 balls he bowled to Snell Patel. A boundary, then a 2 that was saved on the infield, and then another boundary. Snell's not out there anymore, though. It's Abhi Singh to face the first of the 20th. First delivery high and wide. This inning started with 11 and 18 off the second and third balls as we look again at a ball that just does not have the right radar. Admittedly, Abhi Singh well across his stumps, but even still, that one was well wide of the tram lines. Singh scorches this one towards long on. Durrani up with it. It'll just be a single. But overs of 11 off LaRue and 18 off Faisal Khan during the power play staked this San Diego side to a 58-for-1 score through the first 6 overs. They would extend that to 96-for-1. Biggest surprise of the day, the 17 off of the second stingiest bowler in minor league cricket, Angelo Pereira. He didn't come back after that. Paradkar gave up 12 as well, and they were sitting at 9.6 runs and over at the drinks break. Since then, just 58 runs, soon to be 59, conceded by this East Bay attack. Good work by Faisal coming in hard on that one. "59 off 56 balls since the break. 3 wickets have fallen. There have been lengthy gaps where there have been no boundaries hit. Gone! A bail trimmer from Rushil Ugarkar. And that'll be all for Abhi Singh, 5 off 8 for Abhi Ender. And that's certainly a way to hold the run rate and the target down. Third different bowler to clean bowl someone, and I said bail trimmer. Actually, it was a off-stump kisser. That brings Abhi's stay at the crease to an end here. It'll be Siddharth Menon out to face at least one of these final 3 deliveries. Menon on debut on Sunday. The first delivery is run to the offside, looking for his first run in minor league, and he will claim it. He's about to say his debut, 0 not out for 2 against the LA Lashings. Final over of that game was faced entirely by Vijayaram Nandula, except for the final ball, the 6 to win off the bat of Sabrish Prasad. Nandula on strike, stepping across his stumps this time around. It's a good delivery. And a dot ball as we'll get a look well across his stumps. And this time around, that might have been a wide on a normal delivery, but with Vijayaram sitting at a 5th stump line himself with his guard. The line follows the batter. Final ball of the first innings. That one's hit towards the backward square region, a long run in, and they will take a pair. They throw down to Sideep's end. They whip off the bails. They will only take 1, and it is a run out on that final delivery. And so San Diego Surf Riders will finish 157 for the loss of 6 in their innings. Take a look at the run out here as Abhishek Paradkar gunning in this ball on a hop. We'll see if there's any debate. Nope, bat not grounded at the moment that the bales were cleaved of their moorings. And as a result, again, a single and a run out on the final ball. It'll be 157 for 5. 157 for 6 as we take a look at the cards. Batting card for San Diego Surfriders, dominated by the partnership between Shehan Fernando and Snell Patel. They put on 85 runs for the second wicket. Patel, the one who survived longer and who put up the big 67 rather, his second half century in minor league. Not much in the way of rear guard action besides those two, only Skandar Rohit Sharma into double figures. Unable to continue that pressure, as we mentioned before, 96 for 1 at the end, or at the moment of the drinks break, halfway through the innings. They add just 61 runs on the final 60 balls and keep this very much in range for the East Bay Blazers, just 2 runs past the highest first innings total that they have conceded this season, but there were times here where it looked like they might be a good 20 to 30 runs past that. A look at the bowlers who recovered from some early carnage to restrain that total. Faisal Khan, expensive in his second over in particular. A number of extras coming about, a pair of no balls and a wide, leading to his 1 off 20. He was responsible, though, for the first wicket, dismissing Pranav Reddy Pagidyala in the midst of all of that slight insanity. Carmine LaRue came back from 2 rough overs in the power play to go at just 7.25. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, a pair of overs to restore some sanity there in the power play as well. He goes for 14 off of his 2. 2 more wickets for Abhishek Paradkar, who closes to within 1 of Shadley van Skalkvik atop the wicket takers table. The only really expensive bowler on the day, big surprise, Angelo Pereira, 17 off of his 1. We'll see where that puts him on the economy table. Vikash Mohan, meanwhile, sort of completing Angelo Pereira with 1 for 14. Vikash responsible for dismissing Shehan Fernando before he could make his way to a half century. Rushilu Garkar, 1 for 25. He gets the wicket in his last over, bowling Abhi Singh. Of course, the run out for good measure on the final ball, and that sets the target at 158 for the East Bay Blazers to move one big step closer to a playoff berth and a trip to Morrisville. We'll be back with that chase on the other side of about a 15-minute break here on the MLC Network. Stick around. And welcome back to Morgan Hill, California. Just about ready here for action. In the second innings, it's 158, the target that the East Bay Blazers will be pursuing. If they can get there, it's going to put them probably about 95% of the way to claiming a spot in the Super 8s. Are there scenarios where they could get left out? Absolutely, but the massive net run rate advantage they have over the other three teams that could feasibly end up at 6-4 means that a sixth win just about gets the job done. It's going to be Supranch Kumar getting the first ball for the San Diego Surf Riders, and he will be bowling from Atul's end as well, same way that the East Bay Blazers started with their attack, albeit with right arm pace here. If you want to talk about teams set up very differently in their attacks, this is quite the eye-popping contrast. East Bay Blazers had three lefty pacers and, of course, Rushilo Garkar from the right side available, whereas San Diego have got just two, Supranch and Javed Zadran, as pace bowlers. They've got six potential options, albeit one that has not been used yet this season for spin. You've got Sabrish, Vijaya, and Shehan Fernando as offies, Abhi Singh and Pranav Reddy Pagidyala as leggies, and Kunj Bhagat from the left side. So lots of options if you want to try and get the ball to turn on this surface. It did some good things for the spin bowlers 2 weeks ago. We'll see if the pitch is still set up for that. It's going to be Sujith Gowda and Kavin Bandara to open for the East Bay Blazers. And it appears to be Sujith on strike for the first ball. That one batted to the onside. Supranch Kumar on target to get things underway here. Gowda, of course, MILC's all-time leading scorer. And it's quite possible this weekend that he and Shahan Jayasuriya will be in a bit of a race to see who can become the first 2,000-run scorer in the league's history. That delivery's well down the leg side for a wide, and East Bay's account is opened. Here in the power play, of course, just two men permitted outside the 30-yard circle. Skandar Rohit Sharma has elected to place his at a deep backward square and a deep, rather wideish third man. Still looking for the first runs off the bat, as that's a dot ball. Supranch, the 18-year-old and under-19 West Zone selection, along with an under-19 World Cup qualifier selection. That ball is hammered by Gowda, square of the wicket, and that's the first boundary of the run chase here for the East Bay Blazers. A little swivel and punched away. Throwing the pull on length. And nothing to do there. The deep protection, as we mentioned, at backward square. All he had to do was get that by the man on the inner circle, Pranav Reddy. And he did exactly that. First runs of the day, Sujith Gowda. With that, moves up to 1,900 career MILC runs. If he becomes a Centurion here in this run chase, perhaps Shahan won't even get a chance to get out of the starting blocks in that race to 2,000. A single there, and that'll bring Bandara on strike. Bandara, a 28-year-old from Colombo, Sri Lanka. One of a handful of high-profile Sri Lankans in this division. He bats from the left side, nearly 2,000 first-class runs in his career, close to 1,300 in List A. and an 82 high in official T20s. Has played in the Lankan Premier League with the Kandy Falcons. 2 fours amidst his 11 runs off 16 in his debut against Seattle in at 5. Out for a 2-ball duck, though, a day later. First delivery, a bump ball tapped straight back to Supranch. Supranch, along with his new San Diego teammate, and the two of them formerly Silicon Valley teammates, a massive part of the U19 squad's World Cup qualifying bid in the Americas zone. 3 for 7 and 4 for 10 taken against Argentina, 2 for 11 against Bermuda. He's gotten pad on that one. They certainly want it. The umpire not giving. So it will be a dot to finish off the over. We'll take a look perhaps and see if there's anything to it. If anything, may have pitched outside leg. I think that is probably what it is rejected largely on. Maybe a little bit of trouble on height as well, but probably the former. Either way, Bandara survives the over. He's still looking to get himself underway. East Bay underway, 6 for no loss through 1. And it's going to be the 17-year-old off-spinner, Sabrish Prasad, who we mentioned beforehand, part of a dynamic USA Under-19 attack at those World Cup qualifiers about a month ago. But he has got to still be at least somewhat on Cloud 9, or maybe more accurately Cloud 6, after the way he finished off the weekend of games at Canyonside against L.A. 5 days ago. If you were not around for that, L.A. seemed to have pulled a defense of a target out of the fire as Prasad bowls over the wicket for his first, tapped right back to him. San Diego had been going at a pretty decent clip, but a nasty couple of final overs from Akmal Hajizada had put L.A. on the brink. After dismissing Vijayaram Nandula, who had been the danger man, they were able to get it to needing just 2 off 1 on the final ball. That is destroyed by Sujith Gowda, and in fact, that's almost a live replay of what Sabrish did in the situation I was describing. Was a 6 directly over the head of the bowler, in case you're wondering what that looked like and don't want to go digging for a replay of that game. Here's more or less it. Same color jersey, too. Absolutely smashed by Gowda. He uses the feet to get to the pitch and dispatches that for his first maximum of today's encounter. He's so far responsible for all but 1 of the East Bay runs. Sabrish will look for the comeback ball here. Not bad. Run back to third man for a dot. But that was exactly it. Sabrish Prasad came in at 10 with San Diego still needing 2 off the final ball, and took the first ball he saw from Akmal Hajizada, a pickup shot straight back over the bowler's head, and out for 6. And that was that. San Diego got their second win of the season, and split the pair against their SoCal rivals. Another dot delivery here from Prasad, who has been, by and large, pretty stingy this season. 6.48 the economy, and that falls to just a little over 4.5 runs per over against left-handed batters. And they have used him a good bit in the power play as of late. 7 of his 23 overs of work And it's there that he's been almost unhittable, unless you're taking him for boundaries. 71% of his power play deliveries have been dots. His non-boundary strike rate against is 17 inside the first 6 overs of the innings. Unfortunately, he does go for some of these. And punctuated by one off the second ball and one off the final delivery of the over, Sujith Gowda well and truly into his work. 12 off it, courtesy of a pair of massive strokes from the Karnataka man. We'll get a look at the latter of them here. No footwork this time, just a little overpitched. And Gowda gets down into the slog and belts it to mid-wicket for 6. 12 from that over, 18 for no loss through 2 for East Bay. Javed Zadran will bowl the second over from Atul's end. First change in this second innings comes right out of the chute. Lefty pacer is the only other pace option available to captain Skandar Rohit Sharma. So far, 6 wickets in 13 overs. 3 of those, though, coming as he took 3 for 24 on Saturday against LA Lashings. And non-trivial wickets claimed by Javed. And correction, I for some reason had him listed as a left-arm pacer on one of my documents. It's another righty pacer. No lefty pace in this squad today. Sukhwant Sekon has been the only one they've regularly fielded. But Zahid Zakhail, Mayank Raghav, and Elmore Hutchinson, the 3 scalps claimed by the young under-21 Afghanistan player. First delivery of his innings, targeting the stumps, right on target. Took 6 wickets as well last season in MILC, did that in 11 overs. Actually ranked 11th in MILC in both strike rate and average as a result of those. Very stingy against lefties and lethal against right-handers in terms of dismissing them. A few things have flipped this season. That ball is lifted where there is no fielder. The deep protection at the moment behind Javed Zadran is at sweeper cover and at deep mid-wicket. That one guided backwards of point with a nice little cut by Kavan Bandara. First boundary for him. Yeah, the interesting thing for Zadran is that last year, as we said, stingy against lefties, struggled with wides, bowled only 1 over each in the power play and at the death. So that one is tapped and will be a dot here on the heels of that 4. This season, on the other hand, just 3 wides bowled, so he's cleaned that up, but getting belted by left-handers, as Kavan Bandara just gave you some evidence of. 9.89 his economy against those, 8.08 overall. And he's almost exclusively being used in high leverage situations now. Only 2 of his 13 overs have been in the middle. Last season, only 2 of them weren't in the middle. So some interesting changes afoot for the youngster. Goes a bit wider with his line. Bandara bloops that one wide of the fielder at backward point, and that is going to be another boundary for the 28-year-old Sri Lankan. Really trying to create that angle, but overdoes it a touch. That might have been a wide if Bandara had not swung at it, but he'll be perfectly happy to pick up 3 extra runs on top of that. As we mentioned, did most of his scoring in his debut by virtue of boundaries. 8 of his 11 runs coming courtesy of 2 fours. So far, all 8 of his runs today. That one's going to split the gap in the infield and roll to that deep protection. 9 so far for Bandara off the first 5 deliveries of that over. And Sujith Gowda will face the last. Gowda with 70 off 71 balls in his 2 innings against Seattle last weekend. 48 off 44 in that run chase Sunday that East Bay just could not get over the line. Up till then, we figured a split of those 2 games and East Bay would be just about a shoo-in to win the division again. But needing 5s in the final 6 overs, they fell just a run shy of the target and lost in a super over. And that's what's got us in the situation we're in right now. We'll tell you about that situation when we come back. 9 off that over, East Bay 27 for no loss through 3. Bandara on strike again as he will get his first look at Supranj Kumar, who has switched ends and will bowl his second over from the Tarika end instead. His San Diego team a bit dependent scoring-wise on Snell Patel and Shahan Fernando. Earlier today scored 69% of their 157 runs, the 2 of them. 54% of their runs on the season have come from those 2 new acquisitions, the men from Rajkot and from Sri Lanka. First delivery of this over, run to mid-wicket for a single. First over from Supranj Kumar gave up a boundary, a single, and a wide for those 6 runs to his name. So far, all a little feast or famine for the East Bay Blazers. It is, of course, early. That is not uncommon in the power play, but at the moment, 24 of their 28 runs coming courtesy of boundaries. A pair of 6s from Gowda off Sabrish and 3 4s. One of them off the man with the ball in his hand right now. Well bowled. I got to say, you saw on your screen there as he came out to claim that ball, Siddharth Menon rocking that aqua sun hat. I got to be real, I am in love with that. Using his feet is Sujith Gowda, but he's unable to quite get to the pitch of it. He'll stay put as that one rolls to the man at mid-on. Yeah, that sun hat right there, that might be just the thing for a hot, sunny day in Morrisville coming up in a couple of weeks when the Super 8s get underway. East Bay looking to book themselves a place. They're 129 runs away from taking one really big step in that direction. A single off that last delivery. So far, East Bay going at precisely the required run rate. 7.91 their rate, 7.90 what is required. Ball tapped straight back to Supranj. Supranch continuing to dot it up here. He has been, we're going to have a quick little stoppage. It's been very, very effective so far. Just the one boundary off of him. Using the feet as Bandara, that's an outside edge that will fall in front of the deep backward point fielder. Third man was inside the circle, backward point, way back at the rope. A little bit of an exhalation as Bandara survives over number 4. East Bay 30 for no loss. An interesting setup for the team here. Just the two right-arm pacers, as we mentioned, Zadran and Supranch Kumar. Lot of spin on offer for the middle overs, and looking down the East Bay lineup, most of their batters fare better against pace than they do against spin, but most of them also a fair bit slower in the power play than elsewhere, as that one is flagged down by Abhi Singh and will just be a single off the bat of Bandara. Javed Zadran continues from this end. But looking down the list, Sujith Gowda strikes about 20 points lower against spin. Sanjay Krishnamurthy about 11 points lower. Sadeep Ganesh 40 points lower. Abhishek Paradkar about 14 points lower. Angelo Pereira nearly 50 points lower. Hizbullah Durrani really the only one that has had spin be his preferred type of bowling to face this season, in terms of how quickly they're able to go at it. That one is going to beat the fielder inside the circle, and no deep protection out in front of Sujith Gowda, and he's got himself another boundary. That one just stand and deliver. Pick the length, no footwork necessary. Third boundary conceded by Javed Zadran, the first two both to Kavan Bandara. Fourth stump line, that is going to just be too high for Abhi Singh to get to. May not have taken the best path to that one. I think thought that it was a little shorter as he took off to his left and then realized that was definitely going to beat him for pace and distance. Back-to-back fours now for Gowda. I mentioned before that it was 24 of their 28 runs. It's now 32 of their 39 have come by virtue of boundary strokes. That one run back behind point. Long run for the deep protection, but he will get there. Siddharth Menon will be the one to bring it back in. 2 off that, 10 off the last 3 deliveries for Gowda, and he'll retain strike. Call coming from his bench. Javed, work hard. Deep men now at square leg and third. This will be worked on the infield for a dot delivery, and Gowda will face the last of this over against Zadran, so far seeming to take well to his bowling. A couple other matches in progress right now with playoff implications. Philadelphians and New England Eagles. The Eagles batting first, 114 for 4, about 12 overs in. Philadelphia must win, or the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers will join their crosstown rivals in the Super 8s, and that'll be all she wrote for the East. Yorker length delivery from Zadran, and it's picked out perfectly. Maybe more of a half volley. Shot straight back through the box. And a third boundary on the over as we'll take a look at this. Yeah, never mind. Looked like a Yorker live from where we were sitting. But ends up a half volley. Gowda knows exactly what to do with that. Another 4 to his total. And 15 off the over. East Bay, 45 for no loss. Final over of the power play will be given to Supranch Kumar from the Tarika end. 5 of the 6 overs have gone to Pacers, just that first one from the Tarika end, second over overall, bowled by Sabrif Prasad. 4 dots, but 2 maximums off the bat of Sujith Gowda. He's now at 32 for 19. Bandara on strike to start this over, and that one is worked and hoiked backwards of square leg. And that one makes it all the way for another maximum here. They like to talk in the StatCast era in baseball about launch angle. That launch angle might have been 10 degrees, but it had just enough juice on it to get all the way to the rope on the fly. And there's going to be a short period, I think, of trying to recover that ball. Oh, nope, found already. But with what little delay we have, we will tell you about the out-of-town scores. Was mentioning before, New England currently going at a pretty decent clip, nearly 10s against Philadelphia, as they look to set up a total. Baltimore Royals, 176 for 5 they've posted. As that ball is going to be a leg side wide. Bandara trying to help it around the corner for perhaps another boundary, but instead he'll take the free run. The 50 up on that low screaming 6 off the bat of Kevin Bandara. But again, 176 for 5. Baltimore Royals undefeated this season at 6 wins, no losses, and a no result. A win over Atlanta would put them in very good shape for a trip to Morrisville for the Super 8s. This week for them, it's all matchups with Atlanta sides. They've got the Lightning today. That one's worked for a single to mid-wicket. They've got the matchup with Atlanta Lightning today, who come in at 4-1, and then they will face off with the 6-0 Atlanta Fire tomorrow and Sunday. Those 2 matches may go a long way to deciding which of those 3 teams, the Lightning, the Fire, or the Baltimore Royals, end up in the Super 8s. It's also possible we won't have an answer by the end of the weekend because there are still 2 games left to be played after all this. The Atlanta Derby between the Fire and the Lightning. Those 2 games will not take place until Friday and Saturday next week. Might be for a division title, might be for the 2nd seed, or it might all be sewn up by then. A cut from Sujith Gowda will get him a single as it's run into that area where the 2 fielders have to converge. 9 runs so far off this last power play over. 3 balls left. A half-century opening partnership inside the power play, exactly what the doctor ordered, trying to chase down 158. So far this season, the ballers have been stymied, chasing 135, 155, and 128. That one got pad, but stepping way across the stumps was Bandara. Does not look like he's in any danger. No appeal. Height, really the key issue there. dot delivery to interrupt the momentum. All the same, a good thing for this San Diego attack. Deep protection against Bandara at a wide mid-wicket and at third man. That is going to be lifted in the direction of that deep mid-wicket, but it's got way too much juice. Another maximum for Bandara. And after Sujith was having all the fun early, Bandara now 2 4s and 2 6s en route to his 25 off 15. Last ball of the power play is worked to the man in this inner circle. That'll be a single. And East Bay finished this period very similarly to where the San Diego Surf Riders landed. In fact, Surf Riders were 56 for 1 at the end of the power play. East Bay still with their opening partnership intact and 5 more runs. Blazers 61 for no loss as the fielding restrictions release. First over outside the power play will belong to the off-spinner Vijayaram Nandula. Nandula so far 4 overs bowled, and he has taken 2 wickets. But the righty-lefty split is truly astonishing and not in the direction you normally would associate with an off-spinner. First ball from him runs straight to the fielder at backward point. So far this season, both wickets and only 20 runs off 29 balls bowled to righties. 47 runs off 19 delivered to lefties. And Bandara trying to continue to make me look like Cricket Nostradamus as he fires that one back behind point. Another 4 here after that first dot from Nandula as he is working very, very wide and very, very flat on these first 2 balls. Ordinarily, you got a lefty batter out there who's starting to feel himself. This is the option you'd go to. You'd look for an offie. And they've got a few here. Sabrish Prasad, who did not get to face Bandara, as well as potentially Shehan Fernando. They also do have some leg spin in the form of Abhyander Singh and lefty spin in the form of Kunj Bhagat. That almost felt like a pace delivery and may have gotten pad. Goodness gracious. Nandula really hummed that one in there. We'll take a look and see if there's anything to it. Definitely did get pad. Might have pitched outside leg. The bigger question is, did it get bat? And that's clearly the signal from our umpire, as that is runs off the bat. A ball run over towards mid-wicket, and it'll be a single. And it'll put Bandara back on strike. Sujith Gowda and Bandara both in the 30s now. Very even partnership. As we said early on, it was Gauda having most of the joy, the 3 boundaries in the opening 2 overs. But Bandara has definitely joined the party here. Runs that one back to third. Another single. Certainly with the bright start that the Blazers have had, they can afford to try to manage the period that'll be spin dominated, at least for a while, before they have to worry about pushing. They've managed to work that required run rate down under 7s with some of the early aggression against the young Pacers for this Surf Riders attack. Again, picking up the pace. This one down the leg side. It'll be a wide, and they'll take an extra run on top of that. And Vijayaram will have to reload that one. Another flat, quick one. Brief appeal for maybe a caught behind. No interest from Sundaram Subramanian. And it's 9 off Nandula's first. East Bay Blazers going at exactly 10s, 70 for no loss. Seven overs gone. East Bay 70 for no loss. 88 runs from victory. Sujith Gauda on strike. And the ball handed, I believe, to Kunj Bhagat, although waiting for the scorecard to update. We'll know in a second if he bowls. Nope, no, my mistake. It's Sabarish Prasad. So sticking with off spin here. First delivery rolled to mid-wicket by Sujith Gauda. Out there is a man in the deep. First over from Prasad. 4 dots, that's the good part. 2 massive Gauda 6s, that's the rough part. Kept him out for the remainder of the power play. We talked about Prasad with the bat last weekend. That'll be a quick single as the throw is down to the bowler's end. In is Bandara. In the opening weekend, Sabarish, one of the heroes with ball in hand, bowled a full 4-over spell and took 2 for 12 against Seattle Thunderbolts in the first win of the season. So thus far, a big performance from Sabarish has been a characteristic of both of San Diego's happy days so far. They're going to need a little something from him as he comes over the wicket. Gauda working that to the vacant mid-wicket area. Long run in. Actually be long on that gets to it, and they'll take a pair. Partnership tooling along as Sujith Gauda in pursuit of what would be his 16th half-century here in minor league cricket. And as we mentioned, if he were to reach the century mark and then go just a few runs past it, he might become the first ever 2,000-run scorer in MILC by the end of the day. That's going to lop 6 of them off in a hurry. Shot. Straight back over the bowler's head and all the way. No, excuse me, I'm sorry, that is not a 6, that is a 4. I got out in front of myself. It is admittedly very far away. Gotta wait for the umpire's signal. Don't get too excited, Hickey. Probably just distracted by the quality of that shot. Struck with authority. Back to live action as the ball is scraped again towards mid-wicket. Thought about taking a second. There is a misfield, but everybody had come to a stop by then. And so Bandara will face the last of this over as Gowda moves into the 40s. Worked off the gloves by Bandara to mid-wicket. A single on the final ball, another 10-run over. East Bay continue to go at 10s, 80 for no loss through 8. Gowda into the 40s, East Bay into the 80s. They have lopped off half the total necessary to claim victory today, and they've done it in just 8 overs. The question right now is who is going to break this partnership and pull San Diego back? We saw a good bit of that. As a reminder, right now, if you could see the Worms, they're still basically snuggling. This is how San Diego started too. First delivery from Vijayaram, wide of the tram line. Nandula conceded 9 off his first over at his second wide delivery. Again, speeding things along. Thought that they might have gotten pad off of Kavin Bandara. The signal is indeed that there was pad. The question then is whether or not that was in line. Certainly Sundaram Subramanian did not think so. That's pitched way inside leg, so no concerns at all about that. For those that are new to cricket or new to the LBW rule, the 3 things that have to be true for a batter to be given out that way is the ball must be going on to hit the stumps. It must impact the batter in line with the stumps. If you were to draw a line from leg stump to leg stump, off stump to off stump across the pitch, and it cannot pitch outside the leg stump, and that is what was wrong with that last delivery for sure. That one worked off the pads, straight to the man at fine leg. Throw comes down to Nandula's end, not in time. And a quick single. So a wide, a leg by, and a single off the bat. We've yet to have 2 deliveries repeat each other's result. Let's see what we get from this next one. That one is seeking out the gap. That's a long run for both Abhi Singh and Kunj Bhagat, but it will be a single. Good work by the number 7 to limit that. Off the bat, I thought there was no way that wasn't a 2. Nice, effective charging there from Kunj Bhagat, and some solid backing up there by Abhinder Singh to the left of your screen. Length pulled back a bit by Nandula. And so far, since that 4 that he conceded on his second delivery, on single, 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 2 wides, dot, wide, leg by, single, single, single. Can live with that. If the boundaries aren't there, that'll start to make that net run rate, or excuse me, run rate required, maybe balloon just a little bit, although East Bay have worked it down to nearly a run a ball. 73 now required off the last 67. A dot delivery there. Again, a bit speedy from Nandula. That's going to head out to Bhagat for another single. So 4 of them, a leg by and a wide in the over. It's 6 for East Bay, 5 charged to Nandula, 86 for no loss through 9. Nearing the halfway point, and at this juncture, San Diego Surfriders were 91 for 1 through 9. So technically speaking, San Diego ahead of the game if you're just following the Worms. The problem for San Diego is that from that point forward, they went at barely a run a ball in the first innings. And so for these last 11 overs, all that East Bay need to do to match that is get 72 off the last 66. It's going to require some cutting edge, and it's a new bowler into the attack. Kunj Bhagat, full toss on his first delivery. The ball's rolled out towards the man at long on. Single off the first. Sujith Gowda back on strike, potentially 1 strike from a 16th career 50 score in minor league. He is topped out at 94 in his career here. A strike rate of 131 in 5 seasons. This year he's been striking a bit lower than we've gotten accustomed to. That opening weekend really put him behind the 8 ball, but he is a man for the big moment. That one run wide of Siddharth Menon, and they're going to come back for the 2. Gowda maintains the strike. Bhagat here, exclusively a mid-overs bowler for the most part. After a season in which he was by and large used in the power play and the death overs last year. Essentially, he and Javed Zadran have swapped roles. Was a big part of restricting the target that San Diego had to chase in their win on Sunday against LA Lashings. Took 3 wickets for 30 runs, dismissed Akeem Dodson, who was going at 2 runs a ball, Achilles Brown, and Muhammad Ishaq. And I do not know if you can hear it in my microphone or our field microphone, but the famed Morgan Hill wind has picked up, and it is blowing almost straight at the back of Kunj Bhagat. Can see the sleeves of Siddharth Menon billowing in this breeze. It's ever so slightly going left to right from Kunj's perspective as well. Full delivery, and Gowda works that to the offside for a single. So far, a nice return to sanity from the last 2 overs for San Diego. We see some players coming out. I don't think that was the last ball. unless we're going to have a glove change and they're going to take advantage of that to do the drinks break early, or unless we had a scoring error, and in fact that was the last ball of the over, which that appears to be the case. And so it's just 4 from Bhagat's first. We reached the halfway point. East Bay Blazers 90 for no loss, 68 runs from victory. A look here so far at what San Diego have deployed to try to restrain this opening partnership that has now gone for 90 runs without being either one dismissed. Supranj Kumar, 25 off his 3. Vijaya Ramnandula and Kunj Bhagat in the recent going have pulled things back a bit. Sabrish Prasad traveled, hit for a couple of big boundaries by Sujith Gowda. Javed Zadran targeted largely by Kaven Bandara. Has had a hard time doing very much about the progression towards the target. Very short batting card for the East Bay Blazers thus far. 47 for Gowda, who is just 3 shy of a 16th MILC half-century. Kaven Bandara looking potentially for his first. He's 13 runs away from that at 37 off 28. The remarkable thing, given the current equation and the need for just 6.8 runs and over to get home from this point, is that East Bay right now are 6 runs behind where San Diego was at this juncture. And it gives you a sense of the adjustments that the Blazers made in the second half of that innings, the way that their spin attack went at restricting the rate of accumulation. It's going to be spin from Vijaya Ramnandula to get us started here. First delivery absolutely destroyed by Sujith Gowda, and that brings up the half-century in some style. Didn't make us wait long for that. Gowda into the 50s for the 16th time as a minor league cricket player. The league's all-time leading scorer now just 51 away from breaking the 2,000 barrier. And the only thing that might stop him from doing that today is the fact that his partner might get too many of those remaining 62 runs to leave Sujith what would be necessary. We see the players pumping each other up. Gowda stroking this one straight back to the stumps, and Bandara's gone. The slightest of touches from Vijaya Ramnandula on a ball struck about as well as any that Gowda has hit today. And it's going to take out his partner. Scorched back, and let's see. Oh, it's kicked onto the stumps. That is unbelievable. We're going to need to have another look at that without the zoom, because the action is all low in the screen this time around, but unbelievable from Vijaya Ramnandula. Let's take a look. Let's take a quick look here. scorched along the ground, and a kick onto the stumps, and Bandara absolutely just hanging out, backing up. None the wiser, and he's got to go. I know technically it's called run out, but I want to say kicked over. Can we write that on the scorecard? I don't know that I've ever seen that before, and of course that's what you love about this sport, is you come out to the park and you never know what you might be about to see. So Nandula departs for 37 off 28. He doesn't even get to face one after the drinks break. And 96 runs in, San Diego have the breakthrough. First delivery faced by the still stationed at that end, Sujith Gowda, guided for a dot. And at this point now, that 96 for 1 is exactly what San Diego had through 10 overs. East Bay have it through 10.3. Sanjay Krishnamurthy at the non-striker's end in at 3. It looks like he'll face his first delivery as that one is rolled to Sabarish Prasad at long on. East Bay Blazers 5-1 this season at the Taraka ground. It's where they've played all their games, save for the 2 last weekend in the Pacific Northwest. Surfriders 0-2. Conceded the 2 largest totals of Labor Day weekend in the West in their first and last games here. Played the rest of their weekend in NorCal 3 weeks back up at Davis. Of course, that's where we're headed tomorrow, but not before Grizzlies Strikers at 2:30 here. Another big game in this West Division playoff race. A dot on the first to Krishnamurthy. Here comes the last delivery of the Nandula over. And that one is hit straight to Prasad again at long on. And a single from it. So a pair of big bangs to start this over. The 6 off the bat of Gowda. And then the kick onto the stumps from Vijayaram Nandula to get that breakthrough. First wicket down. East Bay 98 for 1 through 11. A look here at those snuggly worms as East Bay are just about at the same spot that the San Diego Surfriders were. I believe just 2 runs behind what their pace was in the first innings. Of course, again, East Bay bowled beautifully down the stretch in the first innings. Sanjay Krishnamurthy is going to have to face his opposing lefty spinner, Kunj Bhagat, who continues after having taken the last over prior to the drinks break from this end. Gave up just 4 off it. That ball's airborne for a moment, just wide of Bhagat, and it'll be a single. So far, save for the 6 hit by Gowda straight out of the gate. I know we're only 8 balls in, but this looks a lot like what East Bay did as they began the back half of that first innings. San Diego need to hold the Blazers under 7 runs and over from this point. Gowda runs this one to the offside, another dot delivery. Driven to long off. Another single. Wicket coming around the wicket. Pair of righty batters. Nice diving play inside the circle to keep that on the infield so far. Wicket just 6 off the 11 balls he has bowled. He is keeping things nice and tidy as San Diego try to apply the clamps with the new batter. That one, though, is shot through the diving attempt. Krishnamurthy times it better, and he ends that over with a pressure release 4, just after the earlier single had brought up the 100. With that, East Bay 104 for 1 through 12, 54 required off the last 8 overs. As we get a look here, just a little more flight. Bit of a half volley there, and Krishnamurthy able to get enough of that to beat the fielder inside the circle. 104 for 1. Time for our first look at leg spin as Abhayender Singh is going to bowl from Tool's End. So far this season, just 9 overs bowled. He's taken 1 wicket. We mentioned that the economy needs to be held under 7. Interesting thing about Abhi is that his economy is 7, but not just overall. It's also 7 in the middle overs and 7 at the death. And it's 7 against lefties and it's 7 against righties. His splits are non-existent. And I don't know, as somebody who loves to break these things down, that I've ever seen that before. So you kind of know what you're going to get from him, and he's somebody who can keep this game chugging along in the right direction, potentially. He is also somebody, though, who when he does get wickets, they tend to come in bunches. Have a brief break here as conversation between Sujith Gowda and Snell Patel. Unclear exactly what the concern is. Whether there's a white chair or something that needs to be gotten rid of behind the boundary rope. Might be my guess. We'll see. Although right now the conversation doesn't seem to be aimed at the folks that are back past the boundary. It seems to be aimed maybe at Abhayender Singh. In the meanwhile, we'll take a moment to catch you up on scores from out of town, as we do have that ability. Nearing the end of the New England Eagles innings against the Philadelphians. As we mentioned before, not a match that matters to New England at this point. They are not eligible for playoff qualification anymore, but the Philadelphians just barely are. And so they're going to have to chase down, it looks like, something in the 160s. 6 balls left in New England's innings. They're 161 for 6. And then the chase is underway between the Baltimore Royals and the Atlanta Lightning, but it really has not yet achieved liftoff. 8 overs into that chase, the Atlanta Lightning are 15 for 3, chasing 177. So that's looking pretty good for the Baltimore Royals to put a stranglehold on a spot in Morrisville. We are ready to restart here, and it's Abhayender Singh. First delivery is worked backwards of square leg. And a single for Sujith Gowda. So still a little unclear what the concern was. I know there are some folks perhaps warming up beyond the boundary in the batter's eye. I thought maybe the white chair was an issue, but nothing seems to have been moved or changed. Second delivery faced up by Sanjay Krishnamurthy, run to the offside. That's another single. Singh last year, absolutely lethal. 7 wickets in just 8.4 overs. Strike rate would have ranked 9th overall in minor league cricket, and no one that had a better strike rate than him bowled more than 4 overs. That's a shot towards the covers. Knocked down and a dot delivery. The 37-year-old leggy responsible for the first ever fifer in this Pacific Conference. And I never forget that because it's a game I called. My very first game for minor league cricket, he did that against the Hollywood Master Blasters, and he would follow that up taking 4 in the playoffs for the then Golden State Grizzlies against Houston. That delivery is shot towards the on the side, seeking the gap. But that gap closes well. It'll just be a single. But I mentioned that he gets those wickets in absolute clumps. 24 of them in his career, 15 of them have come in just 4 matches. We mentioned the fifer and so forth, as that ball is a direct hit, but Krishnamurthy not going anywhere and already well back in his crease. A dot delivery on that diving snag in the covers. Tidy first. Abbey looking for the good finish. That one worked to mid-wicket. Protection there, though. Just 4 singles from it, besides that opening 6 off the bat of Sujith Gowda just before the Bandara dismissal. Just a single boundary otherwise for the other 17 deliveries since the drinks break. We continue to see a very similar second innings to the first. East Bay 108 for 1, 50 needed off the last 7. Partnership graphic actually illustrates pretty well the extent to which things have slowed down since the Bandara dismissal. Just 12 runs off 16, a 4, a wide, and a handful of singles. All that has been gotten since the unlucky departure of the 28-year-old Sri Lankan. Kunj Bhagat is going to bowl his 3rd on the bounce. Gave up a 4 on his last delivery. That the first boundary anyone had hit against him. That's another one shot back at the bowler and pinging in the direction of the stumps. I would think if you're Sujith Gowda, having victimized your own teammate by accident on one of those, you're thinking to yourself, number one, please no, please not me, but also if it does happen, I guess maybe I deserve it. .49 needed off of just under 7 overs. Asking rate starting to climb a little. Bhagat took an awful lot off of that one. Gowda threw the shot early, somehow managed to get the toe of the bat to it. Skews into the covers for a single. Krishnamurthy trying to split the gap on the offside and will. Just backward of the point fielder and too wide for third man to get over and cut it off. Useful boundary here for the East Bay Blazers as the ball is moving a bunch in the air for Kunj Bhagat, taking advantage of that left to right breeze. Might potentially make San Diego rue the fact that they do not have a lefty pacer that could make use of that. The only one on their roster, Sukhwan Sekon, not in the 11 today. Bhagat, meanwhile, the one trying to make something of it. Popped over to the offside, another single. Blazers need to go at roughly 7s at this point. They've got their 7 from this over, off number 7. That one shot straight back over the bowler's head. Doesn't quite have enough juice to make it to the rope, though. It'll be cut off by long off. Good throw, but another pair. Of course, if you're the superstitious type, one of the things you'll love about that Sanjay Krishnamurthy 4 is he bypassed the Nelson completely. Never landed on 111, the bad luck number here in cricket. Last ball of the 14th. Gowda over to the offside. That'll be cut off by the fielder, but 10 runs from that Bhagat over. He had conceded just 11 from his first two. Or correction, 10 rather from his first two. That'll do it for over number 14. East Bay 118 for 140 required off 36. A look here at a pair of rather similar Manhattans for the two sides. Certainly the damage done by the Surf Riders very, very early, and then right before the drinks break, it was really more overs 5 and 6 that involved the damage done by East Bay, but both teams have seen the run rate drop precipitously since that drinks break. That's the reason we've got ourselves an interesting chase here. That and the recent history, as the first delivery from Abhi Singh in over number 15 is a dot. Recall that 6 days ago, East Bay up in Tollgate Farms. This one slapped to the man at Cow Corner for a single. East Bay needed 30 off the last 36 balls to take home victory, and they wound up with 29. The match went to a super over, and they fell to defeat. Today, they need 40 off the last 36, make it 39 off the last 34. That one's lifted. Fielder nearly there, and a leaping attempt is not going to flag it down, and that is water in the desert for the East Bay Blazers as they get the maximum here off Abhi Singh on that third ball of the over. Bit of a drag down, swept nicely by Sanjay Krishnamurthy. And there was an opportunity there in the deep. I don't know if the camera got there. Oh, there we are. The leaping attempt by Pranav Reddy Pagadyala did not get it. Back to live. Here comes Abhi Singh. Guided straight to the man at point. Good comeback delivery there from Abhi. Dragged his length back just a little too far on the one that was pummeled by Krishnamurthy. If you can get out of this with nothing more than another single or two, you still feel all right if you're San Diego going into the death. That one practically a slow-motion Yorker, but it's going to be run into an area where nobody is patrolling. Siddharth Menon comes flying in. He'll restrict that to a single. Oh, and an overthrow out of nowhere. Was the ball not dead? I think Skandar Rohit Sharma having a brief conversation, and indeed the umpire has signaled dead ball, so the two runners will head back to the original side of the crease. Nothing to it, just a single. Snell Patel you saw with that Saurashtra seal, the lion. That delivery is smashed. Where on earth has that landed? Out in the field past Cow Corner, and that changes the equation significantly. A pair of maximums, one from Sanjay, one from Sujith. And the asking rate suddenly back under a run a ball. And again, a bit of a miss with the length as Abhi Singh drags that down, and Sujith says, I will help myself. Gowda moves to 68. East Bay to 132 for 126 required off the last 5 overs. And a look there at Sujith Gowda creeping up on 2,000. Not enough runs left in this chase for him to get it today. He's 36 away, but certainly setting himself up well to potentially get it done tomorrow. And it would take a pretty Herculean innings from Shehan Jayasurya in our late game today to beat him to it, unless he falters late today or early tomorrow. First delivery from Bhagat to Krishnamurti is a dot delivery. San Diego are going to need a lot more of those, and in particular need to evict a few of the stalwarts at the crease. Just one wicket taken in 15 overs as Krishnamurti looking to get that one to the boundary, well wide of Siddharth Menon at cover sweeper. Another 4 runs, and East Bay will look to get this done with a minimum of drama. They do not want to string this out the way that they did 6 days ago. $22 now required to bring home win number 6. And we mentioned before that just about gets it done for sending the Blazers to Morrisville, if they can get those last 22 runs. This one, a dive to keep it on the infield, but it will be a single. But assuming nothing weird happens that causes our afternoon game to become a no result, one of Silicon Valley or San Ramon is going to end up on 4 losses by the end of today. And so East Bay would be able to do no worse than a 3-way tie for second if that game's winner goes to 7-3. Even if they lost tomorrow against the Grizzlies. And at the moment, East Bay is so far ahead on net run rate that it is hard to picture anybody catching them in the next couple of days. Certainly they would be ahead of Seattle, and they would only need to stay ahead of one of the other 2 teams, Silicon Valley and San Ramon. Gowda scorches that one just over the reach of the man in the circle, and it's too wide for long off to get there. Another 4 runs to the total, and now inside 20 to go. Bhagat getting taken for some runs here in this final over of work. He has bowled all 4 of his in one spell from the Tadika end. First 2 overs quite economical, but he has started to leak boundaries, starting with the final ball of his second over of work. Gowda drives that one back up to the right of the stumps. That'll be a single. He will retain the strike as he moves into the 70s. East Bay Blazers 142 for 1, 16 runs from victory. .24 balls remaining, 16 runs left to get, and it's going to be Javed Zadran, who's conceded 2 runs a ball so far in his first 2 overs, taking over from Atul's end. First Zadran over went for 9, conceding a pair of boundaries to Kavin Bandara. Sujith Gowda responsible for batting him out of the attack in his final over in the power play. 3 fours and a 2. As he faced 5 of the 6 deliveries against the young righty pacer. That one's airborne. Siddharth Menon is going to watch that, and it's over the head of Sabrish Prasad. 10 left to get. Sujith Gowda Moves to 79 on that first delivery. Not an awful delivery in terms of its length, maybe a little on the full side. But Gauda seeing it extremely well right now. Moves to within 25 of that 2,000 mark. Tune in tomorrow at 10:30 and you may see him make a little bit of MILC history. That's another one in the air. That's another one that's going to split the gap. And that's another maximum for Sujith Gauda. Now 4 runs from the total. The difference in our game here is that one is a bit shorter and feasted upon by the Karnataka man. Where the San Diego Surf Riders slowed down in the back half. Blazers did for about 2 overs and then found their groove again. That one is a bit of a bottom edge, and Gauda will take the single. The throw is going to allow them to take a second, and he will retake the strike. 2 to win for the East Bay Blazers. They are going to get to 6-3 on the season. And as we said, all but guarantees them a spot in the Super 8s. They would have to get obliterated tomorrow and have 2 teams jump them on net run rate to end up out of the postseason. That one might be, no, it's off the pad. Waiting to see if it is a leg by, indeed, but not in line. And that levels the scores here at 157, going well down leg. A ton of angle on that delivery from Javed Zadran. And it'll be the captain, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, 26 off his 18, looking for the icing on the cake. Pounds that one into the ground. They will look to take the quick single. The throw is down towards Sanjay's end. May well have hit him on the way through. And that is all she wrote. A comprehensive victory here as East Bay steady the nerves, avoid the blip potentially created by that very odd run out for the lone wicket that fell. And they get home in our opening game of this final weekend in minor league cricket, winning by 9 wickets with a whopping 19 balls remaining on that single. We'll have a look at the batting and bowling cards here for the 2 sides here in this run chase. And it's a very short card for the East Bay Blazers. Just the 1 wicket falling. That kicked down by Vijaya Ramnandula just after the drinks break. A ball scalded by Sujith Gauda. How many times did we say that today? It happened to get kicked onto the stumps and ended the day for Kavan Bandara. 37 for him, though. Sujith Gauda, the big performer. 87, doesn't even get to have it be the bad luck that it would be in Australia because it takes him off strike, and Sanjay Krishnamurthy puts the final touches on. 27 off 19 for the East Bay captain. Looking at the San Diego Surf Riders bowling card, a bit of rough reading. Vijay Ramnandula and Kunj Bhagat pulled things back for just a chunk of time there in overs 11 through 14. But when East Bay got going again, boy, did they get going. And they took advantage of the Pacers. They batted Sabrish Prasad out of the attack early on. And after one nice over from Abhinder Singh, took full advantage with a trio or with a pair of maximums in his second over of work to really take this game away from the Surf Riders. We'll take a quick look at what this has done to our points table. Most notably, it's put East Bay back top of the heap, and there is that net run rate of plus 1.5. Notice nobody else within a run per over of that net run rate. They are in absolute command position to potentially win the division, certainly to go through to the Super 8s. What still needs to be sorted out, though, is Thunderbolts, Strikers, Grizzlies. Who's joining the Blazers in that next round? The Strikers and Grizzlies both on 3 losses. One of them will take number 4 today. The other might well tie Seattle or might sit just a pair of points behind them with 2 matches left to play. All to play for between those 2 teams. Grizzlies looking to get off the schneid against a rival who they always play close against but have never beaten. 0-11 all time. Can they finally get over the hump and make this a real chaotic race to the finish line? Come on back at 2:30 and find out alongside us. For Vishal Tiku at the controls and Stanley on the camera work, my name is Joe Hickey for the MLC Network. Hoping you'll be right back at 2:30 to join us for more minor league cricket here in 2025. So long.